You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney theme parks podcast, and this is show number 258 for Sunday the 28th of April 2019.
Where dreams begin.
Well, hello my lovelies, and what a show I have for you. I am joined by the wonderful foodie, our lovely friend John Kretzu, in a few moments, where we're going to be talking about what you can do with that dining plan to get the absolute bang for your buck if you've got the deluxe one that gives you those table service options per day. While I've got you here, I just want to remind you of all our social media links. Email info@disneydreamgirls.com, Twitter and Instagram @DisDreamGirls, Facebook.com/Disney Dream Girls, and you can also find our Disney Dream Girls podcast family on there. And we just share our Disney life. You can post pictures, comments, questions. Love to hear from you guys. Anyway, without further ado, let's have John on and let's talk food.
Where dreams begin.
Well, on this week's feature, I am very lucky to be joined by our favourite foodie, the wonderful John Kretzu. Hello, my lovely.
Hello, Michelle. It's so good to talk to you.
It's been a while, my lovely. I know you've had your fantastic trip, oh my gosh, end of last year, and this is the first time we've been able to sit down at the microphone and have a chat about it.
Sad. It was my big second trip, and it was very interesting to go a second time. A little of this magic pixie dust, removed from your first visit, but I still had a wonderful time. It's so great there.
That is the main thing. And as we can probably all recall from previous chats we've had with John, he likes to do Disney on the deluxe side. Am I right there, my lovely?
Especially the dining plan. And also the hotels. I love the deluxe resorts. Although I don't think I'll stay at Animal Kingdom again.
Oh, why not?
Well, it is a beautiful, stunningly beautiful resort. And I had a safari, Savannah View room, and I watched those animals as much of the 3 days as I could. And all of that's great. But, and it's a big but, I think that is just a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Unless you have abundant funds and you can just afford whatever. But, it just is so expensive. That room is ridiculous. I think I paid around $600 a night, which is... and it's a lovely room. They're very nicely appointed. The service is impeccable. But the lodge is far away from things. The only park I went to was Animal Kingdom because the others are really far. Mm-hmm. I did go out to Disney Springs one day, but that was also a long bus ride. The lodge itself is great, and there's so much stuff to do there and all of that. And, of course, the restaurants are some of the best. I don't know. I mean, it was just way too expensive since you're paying so much for everything else. I think that was a once-in-a-lifetime, and it was a wonderful once-in-a-lifetime. You do see a lot of animals, although you do see a lot of the same ones, I have to admit. Mm-hmm. But it is magical to see those giraffes and zebras and so forth so close to you. It's really startling. They seem like they are just feet away from you, and that is quite amazing.
No, I agree. It is a beautiful resort, stunning place, but yeah, price point comes with it as well.
Yeah, and I'd rather, because it's not, it's a bit cheaper, but I'd rather stay at Wilderness Lodge. It's the same sort of setup. The lobby is very similar. Mm-hmm. The rooms are very similar. But you're so much closer to everything. You can get on that boat, to the Contemporary or to the Magic Kingdom, and the bus service is so much closer. And I don't know, I just kind of like the vibe at Wilderness Lodge a little bit more. That's my favorite resort of the ones I've stayed at. I just loved it.
You are in mine and Jane's club there because it's our favourite resort as well.
Yes, I know, I remember. Yeah, there's something just truly magical about that resort. You just walk in and you feel so, I don't know, elevated, warm, friendly. It's just beautiful. And oh my gosh, I can't wait to do that Snow White dining.
July.
Oh my God, and you're going to wear your dress, I hope.
Well, we'll see. I think you are allowed because it's a restaurant, not in the theme park. So I'm going to do something.
You have a few Snow White outfits, so.
One or two.
So much fun. I know. I can't wait to do that. That just looks really lovely.
We know when we've got John on the show, we are going to be talking food, and we are going to be talking about the dining plan. And we're going to do a very specific focused look because we've got a list of all of the 2-credit dining plan eateries that you can go to, and we're going to do a comparison of how much they cost to eat there out of pocket, whether it's a worthwhile use of the 2 dining credits, and what we felt when we've eaten there. So before we get on to that, just a quick recap for those people who are new to the whole idea of dining plans. Disney have a whole host of different dining plans that you can take advantage of in Walt Disney World. The first one is a new one for this year, where you get a breakfast credit, and I'm not sure if this is just a quirky one for the UK. It's what I've actually got for this year, and this breakfast credit is you are entitled to get 1 breakfast, hopefully 1 quick service meal per day, and that's it. And that tends to come with your value resorts. So I'm staying at Pop, and that's what I got with it. Now you can pay for it out of pocket. I don't actually have a price for that because it's not advertised on the American websites.
That's interesting. I didn't know about that one, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a new one on me. And then you have got the quick service dining plan, where you get 2 quick service credits, 2 snack credits, and a resort refillable mug per night per person. No table service on that one.
Yeah.
Then you're going up to the standard dining plan, and this gives you a table service credit per day, a quick service, 2 snacks, resort mug. And then the creme de la creme, the one that John loves, is the deluxe dining plan. And this one, you get your 3 dining credits for a table service meal a day, 2 snack credits, your resort mug, and you also are entitled to alcoholic beverages on certain of these packages. And if it does not come with your room, you are able to pay for it out of pocket as a top-up if you are staying at a Disney resort. And the plan that we're going to be sort of focusing more on is the one that has the deluxe dining plan, because on this plan you get 3 table service credits a day.
That's right.
And that one retails in for adults at $116.25. So we're going to see if you can actually get value for that as we go through, and we'll have a few little bits of tidbits and information that we'll share along the way. So I hope you're all hungry, knives and forks at the ready, napkins tucked into the shirt. Let's start, John.
Okay.
Now I'm going to surprise you, my lovely, with the one that comes in at the lowest price.
Oh, okay.
Now this isn't a theme park restaurant, this is a Disney Springs restaurant. And it's a recent addition to the dining plan, because I know in years gone by, I've been there, they hadn't accepted it. It's the Boathouse.
Oh, I loved the Boathouse.
We are both fans. There are certain items on the Boathouse menu that you are not able to get on the dining plan, because some of them are quite high-end and incredibly pricey. Tell me about some of the top things that you'd recommend to try at the Boathouse, John.
The Boathouse, first of all, it's just in this quiet, lovely corner of Disney Springs. It's very romantic, even if I was alone when I had lunch there. But I was having a romantic time with myself. It was just beautiful. The view is so pretty of the bay and the boats, and inside it's very nautical. It's very open. It's just a really relaxed atmosphere. Great service, as at most of these 2-credit restaurants. The service is pretty impeccable. And the food was excellent. And then I had this great crab and avocado salad. Lots of excellent crab and delicious sauces with it. It was really tasty. Very good bread service. Then I had a dish that was so good that I want to go back and have it again. It was the mac and cheese with shrimp and andouille sausage. Have you had that, Michelle? Oh my God.
I don't eat pasta, so no, but I would definitely have a go at the prawns and the sausage. That bit sounds amazing.
It's one of the best mac and cheeses, and God knows there's a lot of mac and cheese at Disney World. This one is just so rich and tasty. The shrimp are perfectly cooked, and they're really large and plump and juicy, and the andouille sausage just has this nice heat. It was fantastic. Dessert for me kind of fell a little low. It was basically just kind of like a chocolate cake with vanilla ice cream. It was nothing special. It was okay, but it was nothing special. My caveat is that as great as the food was, and as much as I enjoyed the lunch, I can't totally say, compared to some of these other places, that it's worth the 2 credits. I almost think that you might want to go to the Boathouse, because you definitely should go there, but I think you might want to pay out of pocket, skip dessert, maybe get an appetizer and share. The mac and cheese was huge. I could not finish it. Share that with someone, or share something else, or get one of the cheaper entrees. They have a really famous burger there that's supposed to be amazing. 2 credits is a lot. And I try to save those 2 credits for like restaurants that are really, really worth it with very, very high-priced entrees.
Yeah.
I would have to vote that this is not a good use of your double dining credit, but I would say it's an excellent place to go to eat.
And the financial data backs you up 100%. An average meal of 3 courses here will set you back approximately $49. All these prices I'm going to be quoting do need tax and tip putting on top, and obviously for a beverage. Let's move to the next one, and price-wise, the next one on our list is in the Magic Kingdom, and it is the new, well, fairly new, as of 2018, the new experience you can have at Be Our Guest restaurant, where you have a choice of a 3-course meal, and you get to meet the Beast. Have you been there, John?
I've been to Be Our Guest. I've been there for breakfast and lunch, and I haven't done the new 3-course meal. I know you have. I thought it was well worth the 1 credit for breakfast or lunch. I enjoyed breakfast. A lot of people don't, but I thought it was good. That's one I wouldn't think about using 2 credits at, only because you can have the experience of going there for 1. And you didn't look that exciting, really, for the dinner. And there's a certain element about Be Our Guest, which, granted, it's fun and beautiful and all that, but it does feel it's kind of, in some ways, a little mediocre. I mean, that ballroom is stunning. It's so beautiful. But there's something about the soft drink machines and getting your plastic silverware over on the side that just kind of, I don't know, it drags it down a little. And if you don't sit there, and if you are sitting there, you're like with all these other people. It's very crowded and very noisy. The Beast Library is a very cool room. It's very dark, but it's cool. I enjoyed eating one of the meals there. It's very atmospheric. The other room, the library, just seems like such a waste. Don't you think they should just redo that one? It just feels like Denny's with a statue of the Beast and Belle in the middle. It has no atmosphere. And, I feel like if you get stuck in there, it's just not very magical. Yeah, I'm very mixed about Be Our Guest. What did you think? Is that dinner worth 2 credits?
No. I'd say 100% go and have lunch. For me, the dinner, you don't have the fine linen, you don't have the attentive service, the food's brought to you basically on a trolley. It's just not got that luxury feel to it to me. I think they've missed out, and the food that they offer, to be honest, French cuisine is renowned throughout the world, and what they're doing here is food for the masses, not food for the individual palate.
Yeah, and I would guess, I'll bet you anything, because I haven't been to Monsieur Paul, but I'm sure it's wonderful. But, Chef de France is very good French food. And I have a feeling that's better than what you get at Be Our Guest. And that's 1 credit.
Just in case that you want to pay out of pocket for Be Our Guest, it's $60, and then on top of that, tax and tip. But the next one is the Hollywood Brown Derby over in the Hollywood Studios.
I love the Brown Derby. Now, I'm of a certain age that I remember. I grew up in Los Angeles, and I remember going to the original Brown Derby, and it was really delightful and wonderful. And this place, boy, it just brings back memories. They have done a wonderful job recreating the ambiance and the dining room and the whole feel of it. That was a lovely lunch, I have to admit. I think it was probably worth the 2 credits. Maybe not quite as much as some of these others, but it was awfully good. Great service. I kind of hated, there's a guy that goes around the tables that is quote unquote a comedian, and he is like, does silly jokes, and it kind of, for me, brought down the elegance of the room, because has this really beautiful, elegant. I know he's there for the kids mostly and for some tourists who get into that. The thing I will say about him is that he came by my table and it was very clear that I didn't want to play. They're very good at that in a lot of the restaurants there where they have a lot of audience interaction. And he just really was very pleasant and said hello and just went on. I would just say that maybe if this is the first time you're using this plan or you really want to get as much bang out of your buck, I would maybe save it. And I hear such great things about the lounge there, and you can get so many of the same foods from the regular menu at the lounge, and I think it's a little cheaper, and it's really cute. It's a great, beautiful cocktail lounge. So you might want to think about doing that, or maybe just going in and having the Cobb salad, to have the experience. What do you think? I think you like the Round Derby too, right?
I do, but for me personally, I would not be using the 2 credits there. I would be going for the Cobb salad and having that as a meal. As you said, it's $18, get some iced water. I could have a beautiful meal and come out of there with change from $30.
Yeah, very pleasant.
Well, that place will set you back $61.50. As I said, it's an average. There are some things on the menu that if you went for the most expensive, that obviously would make it better value for you. But let's take you over to one place that I know John really loves, and this is Tiffins restaurant in the Animal Kingdom.
Tiffins is gorgeous. Tiffins is a reason to go to Animal Kingdom if it wasn't already my favorite park, actually, of the 4. Tiffins is such a magical restaurant. It's located in such a great location. It has that amazing wraparound cocktail lounge. What is it? The Navigator, the
lounge.
Nomad Lounge, yes. Definitely you want to do both. You want to go to the Nomad Lounge first and just relax, or maybe go after dinner and relax. But it's such a restful, beautiful, both indoors and outdoors. And then Tiffins itself, the dining rooms are so lovely. I've eaten now in 2 of them, and they're just beautiful. The service is incredible at Tiffins. They just watch over you and just give you so much fascinating background. And the food is really fantastic. I will say that it's not gigantic portions. It's much more European-sized portions as opposed to American. But that's fine because the food is so highly flavored and so intricate. Gosh, I think it's wonderful. And I think you love it too, right?
Well, I've had 2 experiences there, both for dinner, and they were a very mixed bag. First time was fantastic, absolutely spot on. Second time, not so good. Maybe it was because we were sat underneath the air conditioning vent. It was like the waiter wanted to get us out as quick as he possibly could because we had an early dinner reservation. I was not impressed. So I'm going to say $63.50. If you are planning to go there, make sure you go for the most expensive things on the menu, particularly the beef dish that they have, because it's a beautiful cut of meat and it is done in such a flavourful way. Anyway, let's hop on over now to Disney Springs, and this is one that really shocked me, that it's actually a 2-credit place for dinner. Morimoto Asia.
Yeah, and I've been dying to go there, so you need to talk about this one. I have not been there. I've been wanting to go to lunch there because it's 1 credit. That very few of them split it like that. There and Be Our Guest and maybe 1 or 2 others. So it seems a little weird for 2 credits there, but have you had both lunch and dinner?
I've been for dinner, and I've been for dinner twice now. The food is really good. They have some amazing ribs to start with. And if you like battered Oreos, you have to try them. They are bizarre. The food is flavoursome, but I would not pay 2 credits in my whole life for that, because you can quite easily be in there, have some ribs, have a main, maybe not necessarily a dessert, but you can be in and out under $35. So in my mind, you're not going to get good value. Now, I did pick some expensive items off the menu and averaged it out like I've done with the others, and it did come in at $65.50. But I'm sorry, this is one place, pay for it out of pocket or go at lunch and have 1 credit.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I looked at the dinner menu compared to the lunch. I studied these menus carefully, and there wasn't much difference. I mean, it was basically the same food. I really kept thinking, what the hell are they charging 2 credits for basically the same menu?
Okay, well, let's move on. Back to another place I know you adore. Chica, the cooking place at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. This one rings up a bill of $67.70, but really, let's be honest, you could spend more than that quite easily and really hit it to Disney.
Yeah, I love Chico. I have had 2 dinners there. The food is fantastic. But I had the same entree both times, that incredible lamb shank, which is just, oh my God, fall off the bone. They do it like as a tagine, and it's just fantastic. With the accompaniments are great. I had a wonderful, wonderful salad there last time. This composed salad of pressed watermelon and feta and it was watercress. It was delicious. I had a great cheese and meat board there. And the desserts are pretty exquisite and unusual. Again, very unusual flavors, beautifully presented. The room itself is so romantic and beautiful.
Well, what I'll do is I'll link in the show notes the show you was on last time, where we went through the meal and the experience you had. So if people want to have a real in-depth view of Chica, I went last year for the first time, and I can't praise this place enough. The hospitality we had, it was well worth the trek out there. We were greeted by special tea, which was all complimentary, and then we got some special little, it was like a biscuit hors d'oeuvre to welcome us. Very, very beautiful service. Even refreshing towel wipes to start the meal. It was beautiful.
And I do love all the little touches. They do stuff like that. They give you little surprises. Oh, it's just lovely, that place.
That place comes out at $67.70. So prices starting to get a bit higher. Next one is paddlefish over at Disney Springs. I've not eaten there.
No, I haven't either. And all I hear is that it's so not worth the money and it's not good. I've never heard a good review of it.
Yeah, I must admit, it works out at about $68. I think if I was going to want to have a fish meal, I'd be going to the Boathouse.
Oh, yeah. I looked at the menu too, and it's a really boring menu to me. It's sort of like a fish restaurant that you could go to any place.
Yeah.
Let's just skip it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go on to Epcot, because we know at Epcot there's a Canadian place that I know you like as well. Le Cellier.
Yes, Le Cellier I had a really weird experience with, because Le Cellier, the first time I liked, but I wasn't crazy about it. I felt, oh, gee, was that really worth 2 credits? And a great service, all that. But I came out of it going, maybe I'll go back. Then a friend of mine, really dear friend of mine, who's equally a foodie, said, oh, that's his favorite restaurant, and you have to order this, none of which I had ordered. So he said, you got to go back, because it's really great. So, okay. Went back this time for lunch, and it was great. He was totally right. That cheddar cheese soup that they really talk about is, oh my God, so good. Bread service is great. And the ribeye, that steak is so good. They do some sort of coffee rub with it, and then it's got a maple butter. It is just fantastic. So tasty, so tender, so juicy, so delicious. That was really good. That was worth the 2 credits right there. And it's very expensive. Great service both times, really charming. The servers are all from different areas of Canada, and I love Canada. I've been there many times, so it was fun to have servers from 2 different places that I've been to. The atmosphere, it's okay. It's not as special as some places, but it's cozy and nice, and the tables are sort of well spaced, and yeah, it's nice.
I'm not a fan of Le Cellier because I feel you're too crammed in. I know good friends of mine, Kat and Lewis, ate there last year. They're eating there again this year. They love it. They can't praise it high enough. It's $69, so I'm starting to see the value here of using your dining plan, because if you're going to go for their most expensive offerings, you are going to tip well over that. Anyway, Let's go over to Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and pop on in to Citra Coast. Have you eaten there? I'm sure you have.
Yes, I've been in there twice. Citra Coast is, I think, one of the great hidden gems at Disney World. People do not think about it. I've mentioned to a lot of people who go all the time. They haven't been there or they haven't thought of going there. I just adore Citra Coast. It is beautiful. It is very much, it's kind of an Art Nouveau kind of feel. Looks like something out of Gigi. It's lovely. The service, oh my God, they really, both times, they just fall over, head over heels, just to kind of, they're at your constant beck and call. They check on you constantly. They give you so much advice. Last time I went, the owner came over three times during the meal to check on me. The food is, I think it's just remarkable. I really have had good food there. I think it's just an amazing restaurant. It's well worth 2 credits.
Sounds good to me. It's a place I've not eaten at, I must admit. I haven't booked it for this coming trip because for me, this trip, I'm trying not to go to the too many high-end eateries. You never know. It's a place that you can quite easily get an ADR for, so it might be something I just pop on in to go and try out the cheese plate and a dessert. So we'll see.
They also have a beautiful lounge that's right on, like at the front of the restaurant, so you could have the experience of the place without, maybe going for the whole dinner. So
super. Let's pop back to Disney Springs. There's a lot of these 2 credit places that are available at Disney Springs, and this is STK Orlando. And can I just say, John, some of the prices on this menu are very big. It is I would say if you're a steak person, you could get a wide range of steaks, and some of them are topping well over $100.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've heard it's really expensive.
Yeah.
It doesn't interest me if for some reason. It just feels kind of generic, or like there's SDKs all over the place. So I don't know. It never spoke to me. But I've heard that it's good. I mean, I've heard good reports on it. Have you eaten there?
I haven't. I don't intend to. I think on the Disney dining plan, again, there are certain steaks that you're not able to get.
Yeah.
It tops out on the average price I've got, $72.
Yeah.
The next place is the big one that you've been waiting to share all your love about, John. It's the Hoop-de-Doo review.
Oh, God. Okay, well, the Hoop-de-Doo review, rated by many their top experience at Disney World. They just love it. So if you're a big family and you like to go to those places where they have lots of audience interaction and they come and bang pots at your table and come over and say, "Where y'all from?" If you're into that, if you like to have your, portly uncle dragged on stage and put into a dress or an Indian headdress and made a fool of and get lots of Instagram pictures of that. If you like, loud music and people constantly screaming at you to have a good time, enforced frivolity, you'd probably have a lovely time. And I urge you to go and enjoy it. I thought it was like the second circle of hell. I mean, I just thought, I can't get out of here fast enough. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it was entertaining. The performers just are working so hard. Oh my God, they're working hard. They're just really out there sweating and singing their little hearts out and trying so hard to make sure you have a good time. The servers are just relentless. The food is good. The food is very good. It's a very good fried chicken and, mashed potatoes and mac and cheese and the usual, and that usual terrible salad that they give you at those places where it's all you can eat at your table place. But and good strawberry shortcake, all that, except you can have that exact same meal and much more if you go to the fabulous Trails End buffet, which is next door basically. And you can go there for lunch or dinner or breakfast, and particularly on Saturday and Sunday, they do an incredible brunch, weekend brunch. And you get the same exact food for like half the price of the Hoop-de-Doo review, and you don't get assaulted by the entertainment. So I would say save your money, use 1 credit, or on the deluxe dining plan, we didn't say this, but you don't have to use 2 credits every place you go. You can also just do 1 credit places. Do not, unless that's your idea of a good time, then by all means. But oh my God, Michelle, have you done the Hoop-de-Doo review? You probably, did you love it? I don't know. I don't know what.
The only way you would get me in Hoop-de-Doo is in a coffin.
Okay.
It is not my kind of thing. I want to be entertained. I don't want to be the entertainment. I suppose we've had people on the show that have absolutely loved it in the past. I guess it's Marmite. You love it, you hate it. For me, I don't like that kind of food. I don't like that kind of ambience. I don't like that kind of thing. So for me, $72, if you've got the dining plan, can be worthwhile using your 2 credits for. But I want to get out of there dead quick to the Magic Kingdom, and let's go to Cindy's Royal Table, please, John.
Oh, well, I haven't been there and I need to go. I'm planning to maybe go this next trip. Tell me, is it totally enchanting?
It's nice to do and say you've been and eaten at the Royal Table. For the dinner, you get meet and greets with Cinderella on your way in, and you get the printout of the picture. Then you get to meet princesses. You get a little takeaway wand. It's a lovely environment. Is it fine cuisine in comparison to the likes of, say, Le Cellier, Citra Coast, Tiffins? No. You're going there for the location, not for the cuisine. $73, it's a one and done, but definitely use your dining plan. Let's go to the Yachtsman.
Well, now you're talking exquisite. But, I do want to say just one thing about character dining, because there's a difference between the stuff that happens at Hoop-de-Doo, and I haven't been to the Aloha one, so I don't know if that's the same. But there's a difference between that and the attention you get with character dining, because I found, I don't do a lot of it, but when I've done it there, the characters are so, well, what's the word? They're so, I think, sensitive to the people that they go up to at the tables, and they will really cater their interaction with you with what they're getting from you. That's what I found. I found them to be delightful, so sweet, so really lovely. And that goes for both the princesses. I mean, I like the characters and the outfits better, but, they're very lovely. And so that type of interaction, I find, is a very pleasant and enjoyable thing. It's the other where they scream at you that I don't like. So I'm saying character dinner and character dining, I totally understand, and I'm sure they're good at it at Cinderella's table too. Do you agree with that? I mean, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. I like to meet the characters. I personally don't like to meet the characters with a mouthful of dinner. That's just not for me.
Yes, they're pretty good, though, about trying to time it, I find. But, they can only do so much. But yes, anyway, Yachtsman. Oh, Yachtsman. Now, I'd heard about Yachtsman so much. I didn't go my first time. I went this last time. I thought Yachtsman was spectacular. The service and the food at Yachtsman, oh, geez. That was a fantastic dinner. Well worth 2 credits for me.
I've not been to the Yachtsman. I think it's one that I'm hoping to squeeze in this year, just purely because that cake is the stuff of dreams.
Yeah, and I hear there's another one too. They do a peanut butter chocolate one that's also supposed to be great.
Oh, stop it! You evil, wicked man.
And they have a huge steak. The only thing you can't get on the dining plan for one, although you can do it if both people are on the dining plan, they have a gigantic $150 porterhouse for 2 that is basically half a cow, on your table.
Oh.
It's a very good restaurant. It's really high end. You can just tell.
Well, I will be speaking to my good friend Thomas Allison. He's in town at the same time as me. So we'll have to see if we can squeeze in dinner before he heads on back to California. The Yachtsman, by the way, priced in at $74, but seriously, if you're going to get a $54 steak, you can quite easily really take up that price. So it is going to be a well worth place to start using those credits. So the next one is a place that John told me I had to go to. So last year I dutifully trotted off with my good friend Stephen Klemowsko, and we were welcomed into the most stunning, beautiful restaurant. The decor at Flying Fish on Disney's Boardwalk is stunning. Admittedly, we did get sat next to, all I can say, we were in the middle of the kiddie crash, so we did ask to move, which they obligingly did. My friend ordered a steak with mac and cheese, and I just wanted the cheese plate because, John, you told me about this cheese plate. I just had to go, and it was divine. It was so good.
Flying Fish is, to me, like Citra. It has a little bit more of a presence, and people talk about it a little bit more, but not a lot of people go. I think Flying Fish is, again, just one of the most exquisite places to go. I've been twice now. Both meals were incredible. I had different things both times. And then there was this crazy dessert this time, which was new, which was a chocolate cake that was hollow, and in the center of the cake was a creme brulee. And then they put a disc of chocolate over it, and the waiter comes and pours this hot molten fudge onto the disc, which melts in front of your eyes into the creme brulee, and then you cut open the cake and the creme brulee just oozes out, and it's partly hot and cold and soft and chewy.
Stop it now. It's not keto. I can't have it.
It's food porn. Just look at it. Oh my God. It was so good. And again, I had another waiter that was impeccable. Sounds like you had really great service too. Just really great service. I don't know. That place is, again, one of the reasons to go to Disney World in Orlando, I think. Because you just are made to feel like a king. And it's just special. Flying Fish. Thumbs up.
And at $74.50, it's definitely well worth using those credits.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, next place is Narcoossee's over at Disney's Grand Floridian again, and this one tops in at about $76.50 for an average 3-course meal for one without tip and tax. Have you eaten there?
You know, I have tried or thought about going both times. I haven't yet. It looks beautiful. I hear really great things about the food. The menu, every time I look at it, it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't get me. One of the big things they do there is lobster. They're really into lobster. They do supposedly one of the best surf and turf, where it's the lobster tail and filet mignon, which I just don't like lobster. I want to go there. Have you eaten there?
I haven't, I'm afraid, no. It's just a place that, like you, I've looked at the menu and I thought, it doesn't really grab me. And I've got the menu in front of me now, and there's always something on the plate that I'm not quite enamoured with. And if you've mentioned the sirloin steak and the lobster tail priced in at $54.
Yeah.
Mash and carrots and there. Even the desserts don't really grab me. There's nothing there that's screaming out, go.
It doesn't grab me.
Well, let's go for another dinner show. This is the most expensive of the two. This is the Spirit of Aloha, and it's $78 for the most expensive category seating. So again, use your dining credits. It's not something that's drawn me. I know I've had guests on the show who've been in, and again, I'll link up in the show notes to that have been and enjoyed it, but it is a pricey experience.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me either. I don't think it would be as relentless, or, I won't be forced at gunpoint to go learn the hula. But it doesn't look as relentless. It looks a little more relaxing than Hoop to Do.
Oh gosh, definitely. And I think the thing here is you're not necessarily paying for the quality of the food, you're paying for the quality of the show.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a good show. I'm sure it's nice. I'm not a big fan of Polynesian or Hawaiian food. I'm one of the 5 people on the planet that don't like ohana. So I bet it's fun. I bet people enjoy it. Just not for me. And I certainly don't want to spend 2 credits to do it.
Well, the most expensive one in the theme parks is topping out at Monsieur Paul over in Epcot. Very fine French cuisine. $78.50 average price.
I haven't been yet, but it's on my list for next time for sure.
I have friends who've eaten there and they were totally impressed, blown away by the cuisine. But just like any of these places, you do not have to go for a 3-course meal. If you just want to go and have an appetizer and a dessert, you can go and have a meal there for $30 just to try the style of the restaurant or to see what the ambiance is like and the decor. You do not have to go and spend all this money.
Yeah, you can go to all these places, and just have an experience. You don't need to have the full thing.
Absolutely.
And that's a nice way to do it, to try all these places.
Number one place is not going to be a surprise to anybody. The California Grill at Disney's Contemporary Resort, with an average meal checking in at $83, it's definitely worth every time using your dining plan.
And I had an interesting experience.
Oh, they're always interesting for me at California Grill. I've eaten there 3 times now, and each time has been completely different.
Yes, I've eaten there twice. 4 times because I've gone to brunch twice.
True.
Dinner this time was the biggest disappointment I've had at Disney dining.
Oh, no.
This time was one of the worst meals I've had at Disney, and the worst meal I've had at a signature dining. It was a very crowded night. There were suddenly, for some reason, loads of kids there that night, running around and making noise, and which is, terrible in that room, which is so lovely. And I had this thing that was called Duck Two Ways, which was hugely expensive. Oh my God, it was over $60. And it was duck meat with rice and vegetables. And then the second half was in 2 parts. The second half was duck breast with sticky rice and something else. Well, the first half came and it was sub P.F. Chang's. I mean, this was so salty, so kind of not appetizing, and lukewarm. So I thought, okay, well, that's $30 of the $60. Not very good. And then the second half came 40 minutes later.
That's strange.
2-part entree, and the waiter kept coming by and saying, "It's coming. We're sorry. It's a bit of a backup in the kitchen. Excuse." Finally, they brought it out to me, and it was unedible. I couldn't eat it. It was ice cold. The rice was like totally cold and clammy, and I put a piece of the ice cold duck in my mouth, and I literally spit it out in the napkin. I couldn't eat it, and luckily. The waiter came by just as I was spitting it out in the napkin.
Oh, Lord.
And he started to say, "How's every..." And he saw me, regurgitating my food into my napkin. So he was shocked, and I said, I can't eat this. I cannot eat this. It's terrible. Everything is wrong with it. So he said, well, we'll get you anything else you want, whatever other. So I ordered, I don't know what I ordered, some beef thing. It came out 35 minutes later. I spent a total of 4 hours and 15 minutes at dinner.
Oh, Lord.
But there was this long pause between my app and my main. And then I had this terrible pistachio creme brulee thing for dessert that also wasn't good. I mean, if I had paid $80, if I had paid the regular price for this, I would have just thrown a fit. I already felt bad with the 2 Kretz. They were very contrite, or at least he was. The manager, weirdly enough, did not come over to the table, which they often do at a lot of the other places. Yeah. And especially since I'd complained really loudly. You would have thought they would have at least come by. Well, and I would have thought that they would have done something, given me a glass of wine, a free something, to make up. Not a thing. No.
That's really bad. Really bad.
Place that was my favorite place the first trip. And, now it's left a very bad taste in my mouth. It's not on my list to go back to next time. I've trashed it to every one of my friends and every person I know that goes there a lot. The interesting thing I will say is that the people I've talked to, that I've said that to, who either work at the park or who go a lot, quite a few of them, about 5 or 6 people have said, "Oh, we've heard things are in trouble there."
I think from experiences of when I've been, is because this is such good value if you're on the dining plan, it's attracting a lot of families, and some families are great and they engage with the children at dinner and keep them on track and they're well behaved. Not everybody's like that, and they tend to take their eyes off their children, and children in a place will just start to run around, and then it gets noisy. And I've been there and had kids play hide and seek under tables and run around bumping into wait staff. I've been there and had adults feed each other food, which was just so bizarre. Sat next to each other, literally getting the food and putting it into the other half's mouth. And at times it was like, "Here comes the choo-choo," which was just surreal. But the last time I went, last year with Stephen, it was sensational. I had a phenomenal meal. We were sat next to a lovely lady called Lisa. We chatted with her throughout her meal. We saw the fireworks. We had an amazing time. And I think sometimes it's hit and miss in anywhere. Am I going to go back there for dinner? No. Am I going to go there for brunch? Yes. I think the brunch, I know it's not on the dining plan, the brunch is pricey, but from what everybody has told me, that is the place to go, and you can then use your receipt to go back that day to see the fireworks. Perfect.
Yes, and I will say this about the brunch. First of all, no, it is on the dining plan. It's another 2 credits.
Then that is the best way to use it then.
And I enjoyed the brunch. I did go again this time because I went like 3 days later, mostly just out of morbid curiosity to see, if it was going to be as bad. I will say it wasn't quite as good as the first time I went to the brunch, but it was good. It's great. It's a lot of very interesting food. It could be one of those places, too, that you want to go just once because it doesn't change, really. But it was very, very good and a much better experience than dinner. Now, and any of the times you went for dinner, was there a time when the food wasn't great?
I personally have not had a bad meal there. My other half, he's not been as enthusiastic about it. I think it's more sticker shock because it is an expensive meal to go and eat at. However, if you're using the dining plan, then I think it's a great use of your dining plan.
Yeah, I think I'll just wait a trip. It just was such a bad experience. Yeah, I just want to have a caveat there that California Grill, I think, can be really good, but it can also not be. Don't order that duck 2 ways, whatever you do.
Fabulous stuff. Well, John, you've left all the listeners hungry to go and book some Disney dining, as usual, you bad man. Thank you so much, my lovely, for coming on and sharing your passion for Disney dining. Looking forward to getting that email shortly with the upcoming list of your next trip of what you're going to be eating. But until then, it's goodbye from me.
Bye. Thanks so much. I loved it.